feel free to um, feel free to chat into the group chat. How are you doing this evening? Tracy's joining us in the house. Welcome. Welcome to everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah, good to be here.
Yeah, good to see all of you. Hello, Nick. Do we have anybody joining us for the first time? Kyle, thank you. Welcome. And let's see, we've got some more people just coming on in. Hello from Illinois. Hi, Aaron. Neil, hi. Orlando, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yes. So we are gathering from around the globe. Hi, Deb. Good evening. This is our regular Thursday night open meditation. Open meaning anyone is welcome to join. And we at the Padmasambhava Meditation Center do an open meditation, community meditation, you could say every Thursday night. My name is Christina Monson. And I am one of the teachers at the Padmasambhava Meditation Center. The physical center is located in Denver, Colorado. I am connecting with all of you from Nepal, which is where I spend most of my time. Hello from the Mexican border. Hi, Alan. Hi, Manisha. Welcome to the end of a Thursday. How about just a word or so in the chat? What's the quality of your energy that you're coming into this meditation session with? Hi, Catherine from Paris. It's late night there for you, I think. You just say a word or whatever. How are you doing this Thursday evening? High energy, just finished work, exhausted. Maybe also just finished work. Relieved after many things came together, which is rare. Tired, Tracy. Thank you. Full of gratitude, new winter tires. 50% energy, feel good, happy. So lots of different experiences coming into the end of the day. We call this Thursday night session kind of an introduction to meditation. So I invite all of you, whether you have a regular meditation practice or whether you're new to the practice of meditation, to use this next hour as a chance to develop a relationship with your practice. Explore it in a new way, whether it's something that you're familiar with, whether it's something you're just starting to really cultivate as part of your life. And I invite you to start. We'll do this together as a group. By really just grounding yourself right now, wherever you are. If you're sitting on a couch or if you're sitting on a chair, if you're sitting on the floor. Just kind of get yourself into a comfortable seated position. Maybe you want to just kind of stretch your neck either way and bring your awareness into your body. Let's take some moments here to kind of a abbreviated body scan. You might close your eyes and start taking a couple deeper breaths. And take them all the way into your belly. Noticing where in your body you might be holding on to some tension from the day. If there's any particular discomfort you're noticing. And as you inhale, kind of in your mind's eye, sense that nourishing oxygen just filling up every single cell in your body. Just inhaling each and every one of them so that they just expand a little bit right where they are, bringing some spaciousness. And as you exhale, you might even exhale through your mouth as kind of a sigh, releasing whatever it is that you might be holding that you don't need to keep with you now. And that could be thoughts or a certain quality of some energy that is bothering you in the day, something still hanging on, something taking your attention that you'd like to just release from. And you could even just make a sigh that feels right for you as you do that. And so taking a couple more deeper breaths, inhaling a bit of spaciousness and openness throughout your whole body. And on the exhalation, just letting go of whatever might be there. You don't need to keep with you anymore. And with each exhalation, you might even imagine that you sink a little bit deeper on your cushion, on your seat. Really feeling that basis hold your entire weight. Making use of the ground, the foundation that we have. Holding us, the earth. It is all the time. For some of us, the experience of being in our head a lot is such that we might lose awareness of that connection, in fact, of being grounded on the earth. So it's nice to just take a couple moments and make contact with that. Notice how, with mindful breathing, the possibility of soothing our nervous system and becoming more aware of the quality of our attention is available to us. It's available to us all the time. sometimes I forget to breathe. It's a good thing my body remembers to do it. And if it feels comfortable for you, you might just kind of bring your eyes open now if you've had them closed. And we'll start tonight by doing a sitting meditation practice together. That is really foundational in the Buddhist tradition. We call this shamatha meditation. Shamatha is a foundational practice. It's also a highly, highly advanced practice. It's a practice that we can marry ourselves to without any fear of that relationship. It's a practice of naturally abiding in such a way that we can come to know our own mind and cultivate the capacity to work with it in a way that is skillful and allows us to be more skillful in going about what is ours to do. So to begin this practice, posture is important. And so if it's comfortable for you in your body, and you can keep your spine upright, I encourage you to do that. And the importance of keeping the spine upright is that, according to the teachings in this tradition of Buddhism, the subtle energy channels in our body are then also held in such a way that there's free movement. And when those energy channels have free movement of, we could say, breath, but this is maybe a subtler level of breath than what we're aware of as we breathe in and out with our mouths. This has a direct connection also to the mind. And the mind can more easily connect to a free flow of that subtle energy in our body. And so you can imagine maybe something pulling your head up and then just gently letting it rest back down. You can rest your hands in whatever feels comfortable for you. You could have them resting on your knees with the palms facing up, kind of in a position of receptivity. You could have them palms down, more of a quieting kind of gesture. You could hold them at your navel in the gesture of equanimity, which is a familiar posture that we see when we look at pictures or images of the Buddha. And you can slightly curve the back of your neck so that your gaze is just focused on a point, some kind of width. I forget exactly what this is called, from the end of your pinky to your thumb, right down off the tip of your nose. And it's not focusing intentionally there, it's just resting in that open space, slightly down. The technique that I'll invite us to use together tonight, and if you have another one that you are more comfortable with, please feel free to use that as well, is letting our attention connect with the breath, specifically the exhalation, to ride that exhalation out and dissolve as it does in the space in front of us. So your body supported on the earth. Your breath is supported in the body. And now dropping your attention right down into the core of you and allowing it to ride the exhalation out, dissolving as it does in the space in front of you. And naturally, then you inhale. Your body knows how to do that. And again, bringing your attention, letting your attention gently be there with the exhalation, going out with it and dissolving. And so there's a gentle rhythm. That's the focus for your attention. Just riding the exhalation out. If it feels comfortable for you to keep your eyes open, I encourage you to do that. The practice is not about shutting out the phenomenal world, sound, sight, smell. Our senses are wide open and our attention is focused. It's focused on the exhalation. We'll sit together like this for about 10 minutes. If you notice that you've become distracted by following a train of thinking, just gently bring your attention back to the breath. Riding it out on the exhalation, dissolving. If you notice that your mind is very active, you could try even lowering your gaze a little bit more. If you notice that you're feeling maybe a little sleepy, you could try raising your gaze, sitting up a little bit straighter. Wherever you are, bringing your attention right back to that exhalation. Feeling that centeredness of breath. You just move yourself a little bit on your seat. You might have started holding yourself a little bit rigidly. Sitting in that posture of utmost ease. There's attentiveness in your body as it's relaxed. I'm going to invite us now to do a practice I call taking a round of the 6 senses. It's a continuation of the meditation that we're sitting in together right now. Just bring your awareness to sounds that might be there in your environment, or perhaps the silence, without thinking about those sounds. Just bring your attention to whatever it is you hear. Notice as you bring that focus to sound, that moment of non-conceptual hearing, followed by perhaps a thought that comes up about what you hear. Just sit for a moment. Your attention on sounds in your environment, perhaps sounds you could hear from my environment. Aware of those sounds, yet not thinking about them. And bring your attention to smell. Notice any scents that are there in your environment. Maybe you have incense. Maybe there's the smell of dinner. Just the pure olfactory consciousness. That moment of smell before there's any thought about smell. And just rest right there in the vividness of smell. Bring your awareness now to taste. You may not be eating anything in this moment. Do you taste anything? What sensation of taste is there in your mouth? The taste of your mouth itself. Just noticing that and noticing the moment of noticing it before there's thought about it. Bring your attention now to your body. If you've had your hands resting on your legs with the palms up, maybe turn them over. Just feel the touch of your own hand on your body, wherever it is. The feeling of the cloth of your clothing against your fingers. That sensation of touch before there's thought about it. Just see if you can hang out there for a moment. And that's 5 senses that we've done. And so we come to the 6th, your mind. Notice thoughts that might be there. Notice the thinking. Without falling into the thoughts themselves. What's the quality of the thinking of your mind? Many thoughts at this moment, like a rushing waterfall? A subtle undercurrent of thinking, a chattering in the background? Some big thoughts that seem to be like boulders? And then flip your mind right back on itself and look into the thinker. And then just relax completely. Let go. Let go of the 6th consciousness mind, the other 5. Just resting in awareness of the present moment. Senses wide open. Just for a second. Taking another inhalation, exhalation. As we come to end, and maybe something is there in you, a kind of aspiration an intention of offering ease and positivity, moments of stillness, whatever there is in you that you'd like to offer out into the larger world. People, places, beings, situations that would benefit from some of that positive energy. Send it out to them. And slowly then, and come back and reconnect here. Stretch up a little bit. Yes. Oh. Anyone have a thought, reflection, a question, an insight to share? Please go ahead and use the chat if you would like. You could also unmute yourself and
Christina, I just wanted to say thank you for that beautifully guided meditation. It's just so natural and full of ease and really, really great. Thank you.
thank you, Faith. Thank you. I like to do that sometimes. Take a tour of the senses. In some ways, what we're doing when we do that is that integration of the practices of shamatha meditation and vipassana meditation. And what that means is that we are cultivating the capacity of awareness of our experiences, all of the sense objects, and the sensor, the knower. So that there's an I consciousness. We didn't do the I consciousness. I left that one out. Ooh, now I remember. Now I realize that I did. Sorry about that. I think you got the general picture of it. The I consciousness would have brought us into that awareness that our eyes are open and we're seeing form. And so we can when we keep our senses wide open, not blocking out the phenomenal world, then we see also there's a knower that is separate from concepts about what is known. In some ways, it's a way of training to develop a meditation practice where we don't close the eyes. All of our senses are wide open, and we're not distracted by that. What I find is that a first stage of meditation where we can settle down a bit, whatever it is that we're bringing into that meditation, just cultivating that awareness of what is my experience right now, and the settling down through shamatha meditation then allows the crispness of our awake conscious awareness to crystallize, to become even more lucid. And then we can kind of make that tour of all the senses, noticing sight, smell, sound, touch, and the mind as well. How we can be completely wide awake, lucid, and aware of our thinking. Nick, I see a comment here. I'll just read it. I find meditation such a beautiful solace, a place where the mind can truly rest. It's such a stark contrast from the stress and unending barrage of task and thought that comes with work. It's a struggle for me to blend the two. Would you care to share on this topic? Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that, Nick, because in many ways, that's exactly what we're cultivating, I would say, through the kind of tour of the senses that we just did at the end of that practice of shamatha meditation, i.e., to develop a practice that is a flow in our life from cushion, off the cushion, at all times and in all situations, a place of solace where there's rest amidst the busyness and the stress of our lives, as well as in the places of calm and peace and quiet that are also there as well. And blending the two, Nick, I think in many ways that is the work of developing a strong practice of meditation. What I have found very, very helpful with that is discipline around a formal practice. So discipline, I have 10 minutes or 15 minutes a day. Maybe it's at the same time if that works for you in your schedule. Maybe it's not, but there's a kind of rigor about that. The formal practice is indispensable in order to have something that you bring into the rest of the day. The process of blending it is one where a core teaching, really a gift from the lineage of meditation that I've been trained in, is a teaching of short glimpses many times repeated. So as we do a formal practice, really what we're doing is becoming more and more familiar with our mind and more familiar with our lucid awareness, which is completely different than the thinking, conceptual, rational mind. They're not the same thing. And rather than trying to grasp and hold the subtle quality of that lucid awake state, we just drop into it again and again. And that kind of dropping into it is something we cultivate in a formal session of meditation. And we can then bring through the day. I myself have done different things to remind myself that that is available to me through the day. I know for some people it works, in fact, to set a little ding, a little beep. It might be on your device, but then again, the device can also, a little ding on the device also, as we know by now, because we're learning about that dopamine hit from the way these devices work, could also then cause a moment of distraction to, in fact, look at your device. But the point is pauses, gaps, moments throughout the day, repetition again and again and again, dropping right back into this state of complete presence, wakefulness, vivid awareness, non-conceptual. Concepts arise. Whole point of meditation is absolutely not to arrest, to stop, to block thinking. Not at all. The more familiar that we can become with those glimpses throughout the day, the more practice is woven into task and thought that comes with work. Nick, does that address what you're sitting with? Sometimes I think there is that, as I said, the discipline and the rigor of a formal practice. And I know for myself, for a long time, there's efforting in that. And I think as beginners, and I speak as a beginner, I definitely am speaking as a beginner, there is some efforting. There is effort until we don't need effort anymore to be fully present in the lucid, awake quality of our awareness. The efforting is effort with a light touch. And I think that's where the real subtlety of it comes. If we're completely lost in the distraction of the thinking mind, we're not cultivating then that quality of present knowingness. And yet if we're trying to capture that quality of present knowingness, it slips away so easily as soon as we kind of grasp onto it. So it's kind of the efforting of discipline and the rigor of the techniques of the practice, and then a complete letting go and a relaxation within their application. Other insights or questions or reflections?
Christina, it's Aaron.
Hi, Aaron.
I'd like to see how you. It was neat to see how you handled the interruption with the dog. I know that I quite often feel as though I've got to have a very, structured everything exactly in its place, and my meditation in the morning or the evening has to be very rigid, and it just kind of brings back that sometimes it's okay to kind of have that, kind of have those distractions and have it was sort of funny because I was trying to focus on so much and make it and as soon as the puppy popped in, I just kind of had this sudden calming, and I'm like, a little smile came on my face, and I'm like, all right, that's cool. So it was just neat to see how you handled that. And maybe it was a little lesson to me that those distractions are going to come along. You just have to kind of embrace them and then address it and then move on. So
Thank you, Aaron. That's right. Life happens, and we have so many stories that come from different practitioners in all the lineages of Tibetan Buddhism, and I would say not just Tibetan Buddhism, but Japanese Buddhism, Chinese Buddhism. I go to the mountains to meditate where there's no distractions. And lo and behold, guess what? There's a whole bunch of distractions there in my cave that I never even imagined. That spider, that thorn bush that keeps ripping my robe as I go outside of my cage, the bat that somehow is living in there. So, yeah. And I, in many ways, that's part of it, i.e. we're training in presence, vivid, awake, non-conceptual awareness. And life is happening too. Life happening doesn't at all take away that opportunity. And sometimes we need to attend to something. So I wasn't sure if Puff was going to be quiet here, and she was not going to be. So then she needed to go out. If she had just been sleeping quietly by the window, fine, no problem. But then I thought, I will spare us all her barking. She did go take it outside. Maybe you could hear that in the distance as well. And I think there's a quality of just ease and playfulness. And I sense that, Aaron, also in what you just shared. We can become very serious about practice. And again, I think there's a balance there of discipline and rigor. Like, I don't know if anybody here is a musician. I'm not a musician, but I have tried to learn how to play a couple instruments. And what I know, I'm not naturally gifted musically. And so to even play what I can play on the guitar, I definitely have had to sit and focus and concentrate and learn something, how to play some chords and how to make some melodies come out. So I think it's the same with meditation. There's definitely that discipline needed to practice a technique. And some playfulness that comes with it as well. We can throw in another chord. We don't have to keep reading the music all the time, and we could explore, okay, so these chords actually sound nice together. So I encourage everybody to explore your own practice. Have a technique, and the technique that we started with, I would say using the breath as a tether so that we can build up that muscle of concentration, of having the mind stay where we put it, so that busyness and thinking of concept starts to settle down. And I believe I've shared with some people here tonight the teaching on the 9 stages of shamatha meditation. Sometimes we might come into a session of meditation just in a very relaxed, really spacious, easeful state of mind. And there could be an experience of, I couldn't even make a thought come if I wanted. It's just a vast, open experience of sky. There's no thoughts anywhere to be seen, kind of like the sky here this morning. And we rest in that, aware of the spacious, non-conceptual quality. The next day, we might come back to our practice, and we simply feel like out of the 10 minutes, I had maybe 5 seconds of a glimpse of a place of resting that wasn't just a lot of busyness. Practice is like that. It's not necessarily any sign of backsliding or now I've really got it. All of those experiences are just natural signs of the practice. And that's what they are. They're signs of this journey of developing a relationship to our own present awareness, the mind itself. So, noting our tendency to evaluate. That was a good session. This was not a good session. And around that, I think we can bring a little bit of playfulness, a little bit of lightness and humor and ease. Yeah. Our experiences is different all the time based on what we have encountered in the day, based on physical elements in our body, all of those. I think that the most important is to have a continuity of practice. Other thoughts, insights? Catherine, thank you. Lucid, vivid awareness is different from thinking. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. For example, tonight, and this really brings in that aspect of the practice of Vipassana, there are thoughts and there's a thinker. What is the thinker? Who is the thinker? Coming to recognition of lucid vivid awareness can unfold from that very short glimpse into the thinker. And that gets right, it gets right to the heart of the matter, Catherine. Another practice that is taught in different places, certainly in, again, the tradition that I've been trained in, is the practice of examination of thoughts. From where do they come? Where do they stay when they're here? Where are they? Where do they rest? Where do they abide? You say, I'm thinking, where is that thought? And once a thought is gone, where did it go? That's an analytical meditation that is taught to help practitioners recognize that quality of lucid and vivid awareness. And what we did tonight is also, I would say, a technique that we could explore even more in future sessions. The moment we bring attention to sound, there's a second of non-conceptual awareness, followed by the thinking mind that's analyzing that sound. Oh, that's puff. But it's preceded by a moment of just pure auditory conscious awareness. The same is true for the mental consciousness. So one possibility is for little sensory tours that you invite yourself into throughout your day. Just stop, drop right where you are. What are the sounds? What are the smells? What am I seeing? What am I feeling? What physical sensations are there? Which one am I getting? Oh, how is that lollipop, chocolate, whatever, peanut I just ate? Still tasting it. And what thoughts are there? Noticing what thoughts are there. The sensory tour. Who's hearing? Who's tasting? Who's smelling? Who's seeing? Who's thinking? Again, short glimpses many times repeated, coming back to yourself, to the state of presence, again and again and again, is more effective in familiarity with present awareness than a longer, say, session of meditation in which we're kind of forcing concentration. And that discipline of a regular formal practice is also indispensable for something to then flow through the rest of our day. Other questions or insights or anything you'd like to share before we conclude for your evening, my morning? Okay. I'd like to conclude this evening then with the practice of sending and receiving. And I'm constantly learning about this practice. I send out an acknowledgement and a thanks to Tracy Kesey, who's here with us tonight. She and I practiced this some weeks ago together, and the way that she described it helped me gain even more insights. And so this is a practice that is always a wonderful thing to do, and most especially, I would say, in the time that we all find ourselves in right now, all over the world. A time of perhaps uncertainty that is being felt and experienced in new ways for people. Whether it's through the circumstances of COVID-19, whether it's through the extenuating circumstances that COVID-19 has brought into many different people's lives, through health challenges, through losing sources of livelihood, through the separation and loss of loved ones, compounded with the uncertainty of the leadership of the United States of America, as well as plenty of other nations throughout the world, combined with the uncertainty of our beautiful, shining planet Earth. We find ourselves with a tremendous amount of shared stress, anxiety, difficulty, and pain. And so the practice of sending and receiving is an invitation to open the heart with some fearlessness, and perhaps you might close your eyes and rest your palms on your knees. A sense of fearlessness, to bring forth the intention for that stress, the pain, the anxiety, violence, injustice, as it is being experienced and felt throughout the world by different beings in different ecosystems, to be cleared away and removed. And with an inhalation, You empower yourself with the acknowledgement of your loving capacity for dispelling that, removing it, healing it. And then as you exhale, sourced from the loving kindness, compassionate qualities within you, you push out into the world goodness and positivity. That is received by beings, by ecosystems, however, wherever, as needed. So there's a vast, vast quality of healing, a removal of what isn't needed or wanted, and an offering of all that is positive and good. And this is done with connection to the breath. And so we'll take a few breaths as we conclude tonight with that as our intention. Removing what is hurtful, what isn't needed and wanted as we inhale that. And endowed as we are with a capacity to transform, we then send back out goodness and positivity with a vast intention for it to be beneficial wherever. And you can leave that intention in its vastest sense. You might also focus it on a person, a community, a group of people, a specific ecosystem. And direct this healing, positive, pure, loving energy towards that. Or them. And as we conclude, then also taking a moment to receive that positive and loving healing energy. The 17 of us right now are sending out there. And with an intention, we conclude to each one of us here tonight. May all beings be happy and connected to the causes of happiness, wholesomeness, freedom, well-being, liberation in every sense of it. all 17 of us, all 7 billion human beings, and countless, countless other beings throughout this universe, may all be free from suffering, pain, injustice, abuse of every kind. And live believing in the equality of all that lives. And not just believing in it, but creating it. Thank you. May your sleep be restful. I look forward to seeing all of you again soon. Thank you all. Wishing you a good night.
Thank you, Christina.
Hi, Tyler, Janet, Deb, Nancy, Nick, Sharon, Tracy, Ellie, Catherine, Neil, everybody. Good night.
Christina, thank
Thank you. Faith.